Shabbat Shalom, my Hebrews and Shalomi homies. You know, I don't keep anything from you guys, so I'm just going to tell you this, even though it might seem weird. Every time I do one of these, before I hit the little button and go live, I stand here and I pray. And I pray, amongst many things, that the Father will be manifested in me, and that it'd be His words, not mine, this morning. And I was standing here doing that, and like right here, like right there. You ever been somewhere and you can feel somebody looking at you? You can feel eyes on you. I just had the most incredible reptile brain gut reaction to somebody standing 2 feet away from me while I had my eyes closed, arms lifted, praying. I opened my eyes. There wasn't somebody there, but man, there was the ethereal impression of something that had just left. Does that make any sense? And I mean in a good way, in a very good way. Like two feet away, like boom, right there. That's good. The Comforter, Ruach HaKodesh. We had a terrible storm here last night. I am standing in the sukkah because it gives me comfort and joy. And it reminds me of covenants. If then, if we are obedient, then we will be blessed. Keep the feasts, meet with the Father at the anointed times, do His will for your life, and stand back and be blessed. I am sick. I don't care. I'm not dying. It's okay. But we had a hellacious storm here last night, and my wife stayed up most of the night because there were tornado watches and warnings, and it was pretty bad up there in Ozark, Lahomas. North of here was pretty rough, and here in Arklatex, Lahomas was not great. But I'm happy to report, just on the brief look around that I've had, everything's still here, everything's still standing. The creek's certainly running this morning. I don't know if you guys can hear it or not. Probably over this big flapping jaw, I don't think so. But everything's still here. All the trees are upright. The houses are here. And none of the animals got picked up and spiraled away to the land of Oz. So that's a blessing. When I get done with this, I will respond to the myriad emails and text messages amongst the network of saints and let everybody know that we're okay on this end and find out who needs help on their end. But I'm happy right now to be right here with this gentle breeze blowing and the creek running, standing in the sukkah. With the Ruach 2 foot from me. Yeah. Good days. Good stuff. Marlo, I'm sorry that the Ruach has tickled your heart to read along ahead of us. It's okay. It's okay. I have all the Bibles, and they're all read to different points. So I have to remember which Bible I was reading, so that we can pick up where we left off. But it's good. You should keep your nose in this book. We should all keep our noses in this book, Shabbat or not, daily, on the daily. There's lots of Bible studies that are like, you know, read these 3 verses every day, or the Bible in a year. And look, you do you. But for me, I want to spend time. I don't want to check this off, check the box there, I read my Bible today. No, and I'll be honest with you, I don't read it every day. But I am convicted more days than not to read it. And I want my nose in it. Because I know what happens when I'm not in it. So, with that, let's pick up Bereshit 46, Genesis 46. By the way, I have no idea if Bereshit is the appropriate pronunciation at all, because I might be a Hebrew, but I don't speak Hebrew. So, we're just going to go with Bereshit. And somebody out there in the ones and zeros will let me know. But we're going to pick up in 46. Okay, so we're still smack dab in the middle of the story of Joseph. And there's a lot going on here where I'm hoping to conclude today. There's a lot going on here. We have we're coming to the establishment of the 12 tribes of Israel through the line of Jacob, Jacob, who is renamed Israel after he wrestles with who? Yeshua. So, it says he wrestled with God. And no man can look upon his face and live. So who was he wrestling with? How does the Father manifest himself here in this temporal plane when he needs to meet his people face to face? Yeshua! That's correct, Yeshua. Good job. So, why? Because that's the Father is in the business of preserving remnants, for blessing obedience, instructing his people, and meeting us where we are at with Messiah over and over and over again. And because of that ongoing stewardship and relationship, we get to the atonement, the work of atonement, the work of redemption at the Garden of Gethsemane, so forth and so on. Messiah dies upon the cross and is raised again, and therefore we have the establishment of the renewed covenant in Hebrews 8:8, Hebrews 8:6. Messiah is the mediator of the renewed covenant. 8:8, there is a renewed covenant. And 8:10, our half of the bargain is that the laws will be written on our heart. Now, not at all where I intended to go this morning, but I was talking with a brother recently on the phone, and he had the best observation. He said, yeah, because when they're written on your heart, you can't just put them down and walk away. It's not like they're carved into stone or they're in the book. They're on your heart. They go with you everywhere. So not meaning that you're free from the law because now the laws are written on your heart. No, it means that you take the law with you everywhere you go. And I was like, so yeah, put that in your pipe and smoke it. Wow, dude, that's a phenomenal observation. Now, I'm also observing that we're 8.5 minutes in and we haven't read a verse yet. So, tee off, Father on, Roger. 46. And Israel set out with all that he had and came to Beersheba, which is a recurring place in the Old Testament, right? Abraham and Isaac both, I believe they both had an altar there. They both met God there, Yah, the Father. And I truthfully, I'm becoming less and less comfortable with using the word God. In here, it just doesn't seem right. It's like if you called somebody Bill their entire life, and then one day they go, my name is really Bob. I'm sorry, Bill. I mean Bob. I'll try and remember to call you Bob. So, anyway. And slaughtered slaughterings to Elohim, to the Elohim of his father Isaac. And Elohim spoke to Israel in the visions of the night and said, Jacob, Jacob. And he said, here I am. And he said, I am the Elohim of your father. Do not be afraid to go down to Mitzrayim, for I shall make you there into a great nation. So remember, there's a whole lot of prophecy before this that the people of Israel are going to come into bondage into Mitzrayim, right? So you can understand that Jacob might have an issue of just, waltzing across the Jordan and going into Egypt. He's like, I'm pretty sure we're not supposed to do that. So there's a reinforcement here from the Most High saying, bro, I got you. It's okay. Go into Mitzrayim. I'm going to make nations out of you. It's all good. And how cool is it that while he is at, coincidence? I don't think so. While he's at Beersheba, which was the slaughtering place of tree branches fallen, the slaughtering place of both Abraham and Isaac, which Abraham was the man, right? Like, the man. Love Abraham. Abraham and Isaac, right? He comes to the place of his forefathers. And there, Elohim speaks to him. Cool. I myself am going down with you to Mitzrayim, and I myself shall certainly bring you up again. I'll be with you. Don't worry. I'll get you in. I'll get you out again. And let Joseph put his hand on your eyes. And Jacob rose up from Beersheba, and the sons of Israel brought their father Jacob and their little ones and their wives in the wagons which Pharaoh had sent to transport him. And they took their livestock and their property which they had acquired in the land of Canaan, and came into Mitzrayim, into Egypt, and Jacob and all his seed with him. 66 people. It's numbered anywhere between 66, 70, and 75, depending on who you ask and the whole deal and whatnot. But Jacob's household was 66. Then you count Joseph and his wife and his 2 sons, turns into 70. And then the sons of Ephraim and Manasseh were 5, which totals 75, which is why you have the New Testament refers to the 75. I think it's in Timothy, refers to 75. And in the Old Testament, it's alternately referred to as 70 and 66, because it was, depending on who you count. So there's no incongruency there. It's just certain people were included in the reckoning here, and certain people weren't included in the reckoning there. Okay. All his seed with him. His sons and his sons' sons, his daughters and his sons' daughters, and all his seed he brought with him to Mitzrayim. His daughters, remember, he only had one daughter, Dinah, but he had multiple daughters-in-law. So, and these were the names of the children of Israel: Jacob and his sons who came into Mitzrayim. Reuben was Jacob's firstborn, and the sons of Reuben, Hanok and Palu and Hetzron and Carmi, and the sons of Simeon, Yamul and Yamin, Nahaman, Nashaman, Nahamana, and the sons of Levi, Gershon and Kaharth and Merari, and the sons of Yahuda, Er and Onan and Selah and Peretz and Zerah. But Er and Onan died in the land of Canaan, and the sons of Peretz were Hetzon and Hamul, and the sons of Issachar, Tola and Puah and Yob and Shimron, and the sons of Zebulon, Sered and Elon. Fast cars, yo. And Yahalele, Yaleel, and these were the sons of Leah, or Leah, whom she bore to Jacob and Padan Aram with his daughter Dinah. All the beings of his sons and daughters were 33. And the sons of Gad, Siphion and Haggai and Shuni and Etzbon and Eri and Aradai and Areli, maybe Shemadah. The sons of Asher, Hemaneh and Chemenemana and Shebedibada and Bebedababa. No. Yimna and Yeshua and Yishwi and Beriah and Sarah, their sister, and the sons of Beriah, Heber and Malachiel. And these were the sons of Zilpah, who Laban gave to Leah, his daughter, and these she bore to Jacob. 16 beings. I feel like we've read this before. Maybe we did, maybe we didn't. I don't remember. So if we did, bear with me. If we didn't, you're welcome. ? Sons of Rachel, Jacob's wife, were Joseph and Benjamin. And Joseph, and to Joseph in the land of Mitzrayim were born Manasseh and Ephraim, whom Asenath, the daughter of Potipharah, priest of On, bore to him. Not priest of Oph, priest of On. And the sons of Benjamin, Bela and Becher and Ashbel, Gera and Naaman and Ehi and Rosh, Mupim and Hupim and Ard. And these were the sons of Rachel who were born to Jacob, 14 beings in all: Dan, Hushim, and the sons of Naphtali, Yatzel, and Guni, and Yetzer, and Shalem. And these were the sons of Bilhah, who Laban gave to Rachel, his daughter, and she bore these to Jacob, 7 beings in all the beings who went with Jacob to Mitzrayim, who came from his body, besides Jacob's sons' wives, were 66 beings in all. Okay, right. Besides, yeah, right. And the sons of Joseph who were born to him in Mitzrayim were 2 beings. All beings of the house of Jacob who went to Mitzrayim were 70. So, Jacob's crew was 66. Then Joseph, his 2 sons, and Jacob, it makes another 4, total 70. Okay, cool. And he sent Yehuda, okay, here we are, and he sent Judah before him to Joseph to point out before him the way to Goshen, and then they came to the land of Goshen. So they sent Judah ahead as an emissary, basically saying, yo, we're in the land, where do we go now? Yeah, I know Goshen, but we're left at the stop sign, what's up? What do we do? Also understand that Joseph is second in command only to Pharaoh, and at this point Pharaoh is functioning pretty much as a figurehead. So it was also out of respect to say, hey, we're here, just letting you know, we're on the land. Malaire to Milady, thank you. Also, I left my usual coffee cup at a brother's house on the side of a mountain, but not the mountain you're thinking of, a different mountain. So I had to get a smaller one of these, and I had ordered a knife from another brother's website, and he sent me one of these stickers in the mail, and I was like, oh, I need to get a little cup to put the little sticker on to match my big cup with the big sticker, so I could put coffee in it for my other brother and my other sister who are Malaire to Milady. I'm like, man, conspire to bless is real. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. So, and now I have a great excuse to go back up the side of the mountain, but not the mountain you're thinking of, to the other mountain, to go up there to get my coffee cup back and hang out with my brother. So, fabulous. All right. Oh no, the chickens are out. Stay over there. Thank you for turning my page, wind. So Judah goes ahead and says, yo, what's up? We're in the land. Okay. And And Joseph made ready his chariot and went up to Goshen to meet his father Israel. And he appeared to him and fell on his neck and wept on his neck a long time. Can you imagine? I bet you can. Because remember, Joseph was, 17 the last time he saw his daddy? So, it's been a while. Some stuff has happened, you know? So, and Israel said to Joseph, now let me die, since I have seen your face, that you are still alive. Basically saying, big sigh of relief, right? Now I can die. I have seen your face, you're still alive, good. It's almost as saying, man, these Hebrews have a funny way of phrasing things sometimes. It's almost as if saying, all right, my life is complete now. I've seen your face and you're still alive. And Joseph said to his brothers and to his father's household, all 66 of them, I am going up to inform Pharaoh and to say to him, my brother and those of my father's house who were in the land of Canaan have come to me. Yeah, he's going to Pharaoh to say, yo, my people are here. Out of respect, because Joseph may be second in command to Pharaoh, but Joseph hasn't forgotten that he is second in command to Pharaoh, right? There's a lesson there. One of the 48 laws of power by Robert Greene is do not outshine the master. So Joseph is serving at the will of Pharaoh, and he's doing a damn good job of it. But political intrigue, favor and favoritism, I could change that fast. All Joseph has to do is disrespect Pharaoh once on the wrong day, and Joseph's out of a job. Even if Pharaoh knows he's doing a really good job, right? So Joseph is paying respect to Pharaoh to go and let him know, hey, my people are here. You know, we'll get to the Pharaoh, oh baby, let my people go part. That's coming. It's about 400 years or so from now. So just We're gonna have a sing-along where there'll be a little bouncing thing on the screen and the whole nine. It'll just be like Spruce Lake Summer Camp in Pennsylvania, you know, circa 1990 something when I was there. Was it 90? Yeah, 1990 something. It's great. It was funny. Spruce Lake Summer Camp, Christian Summer Camp. My parents made me go there many times. And I was only even remotely interested in going because I had a good buddy whose parents made him go there as well. Really one of my best friends growing up. And everybody there was city kids, except for me. So they were all like shocked to be in the woods and knew nothing, and I would disappear all day into the woods and only come back for dinner every night. And so I spent 2 weeks in the woods, somebody else's woods rather than my own. But they did make us sing Pharaoh, Pharaoh, oh baby, make my people go, or let my people go, or something. So I don't know why it's in there. I don't know why it came out here, but there you go. Moving on. So, and the men are shepherds, and they have been men of livestock, and they have brought their flocks and their herds and all that they have. And it shall be, when Pharaoh calls you and says, what is your occupation? That you shall say, your servants have been men of livestock from our youth, even till now, both we and also our fathers, so that you dwell in the land of Goshen. For every shepherd is an abomination to the Mitzrites. The Egyptians don't like shepherds, so he's saying, you go over here to Goshen, away from the Mitzrites. And if you're asked, hey man, what's up with you guys? What do you guys do? We're shepherds. Don't lie about it. Just tell them we're shepherds. We've been shepherds. That's what we do. We're shepherds. My daddy was a shepherd, right? Let them know. Okay. Then Joseph went and spoke. This is 47, by the way. Oh, new chapter. That means we got to drink coffee. I really hope the wind's not too bad for you guys. There were tornadoes all around us last night, so please bear with it. Simmer down! Pine tree comes crashing down on my head. Yeah, that's what I thought. Sorry, sir. 47. Then Joseph went and spoke to Pharaoh and said, my father and my brothers, their flocks and their herds, and all that they possess have come from the land of Canaan, and see, they are in the land of Goshen. And he took 5 men from among his brothers and presented them to Pharaoh. You know, it's funny, the rabbis will argue about everything. You know, there's like volumes of agreement and disagreement as to why only 5? Why did he take 5? Why only 5? Which 5 brothers were they? Does this indicate, were they the brothers or were they just men? Does this indicate favoritism towards the tribes of Israel? Who cares? He took 5. That's what he took. He took 5. Does it matter in the big picture? No. No, it does not matter. He took 5. If you needed to know, it would say, and he took 5 men, and their names were, and this is what happened. Dang rabbis. I mean, it's almost like people get bored and they just need something to argue about. Okay, and he took 5 men, and Pharaoh said to his brothers, what is your occupation? And they said to Pharaoh, your servants are shepherds, both we and also our fathers. And they said to Pharaoh, we have come to dwell in the land because there is no pasture for your servants' flocks, for the scarcity of food is severe in the land of Canaan. And now please let your servants dwell in the land of Goshen. And Pharaoh spoke to Joseph, saying, your father and your brothers have come to you. The land of Mitzrayim is before you. It's all good, brother, whatever you want. Settle your father and brothers in the best of the land. Let them dwell in the land of Goshen. And if you know of capable men among them, make them chief herdsmen over my livestock. So he says, great, good to see you. Yeah, all of the land of Egypt is before you. All of Mitzrayim, it's right here. Have at it. The best of the land is yours. Yep, go settle in Goshen. And by the way, if you guys are accomplished herdsmen, any way you guys can give me a hand with my flocks? Okay. And Joseph brought in his father, Jacob, and set him before Pharaoh. Do you guys remember in Genesis 9, ? Where we were talking about Melchizedek? Melchizedek blesses Abram. Abram tithes to Melchizedek. Do you remember the discussion about that relationship there? The more powerful blesses the less powerful. The less powerful tithes to the more powerful. I think our selfie stick is going to get blown off this ladder by this wind. My coffee cup's doing this on the ladder. Father's will. It will be what it will be. Green stuff. All right. Joseph brings in his daddy, Jacob. You may have heard of him from this little tribe of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Yeah, Jacob, Israel. And 47:7, and Joseph brought in his father, Jacob, and set him before Pharaoh. And Jacob blessed Pharaoh. Okay, just so we're all on the same page about who's talking to who here. Who outranks who, right? And Pharaoh said to Jacob, "How old are you?" And Jacob said to Pharaoh, "The days of the years of my sojournings are 130 years. Few and evil have been the days of the years of my life, and they have not reached the days of the years of my life of my fathers in the days of their sojournings." All right. And Jacob blessed Pharaoh and went out from before Pharaoh. All right. Pharaoh asks Jacob how old he is. Jacob says, 130 years, sir. Few and evil have been my days, and they are not even the days. I've not yet lived to the number of days as my daddy and my daddy's daddy. So earlier in Genesis, the Father tells us that he will not strive with man for more than 120 years. Again, getting into kind of the Bible study, rabbinical teachings, compare, contrast. There's a lot of thought here that the Mitzrites, the Egyptians, did not live as long as the Hebrews, that the Hebrews lived considerably longer than the Egyptians did. So perhaps that's what it means when it says earlier in Genesis that the Father will not strive with man more than 120 years, yet you've got these Hebrews running around living 50%, 60%, 70% longer than that. Which could be why Pharaoh looks at Jacob and says, "How old are you?" 130 years, sir, and few have been my days, especially compared to my daddy and my daddy's daddy, and my days have been evil. Think about the story of Jacob. Jacob has not had, Jacob's had a life, we'll put it that way. He's had some stuff, man. This dude has gone through some stuff. The stuff with Laban, and with Rachel and Leah, and with Esau, and the birthright, and the blessing from Isaac, and the, oh, by the way, we're going to go up on the side of this mountain, right? He's had some stuff. He needs a nice comfy couch and a glass of hot tea, and somebody to talk to with a legal pad and some glasses perched on the tip of their nose. So, few have been his days and they've been evil. Meaning, he's gone through some stuff. So, again, remember, Jacob blesses Pharaoh. Pharaoh says, "How old are you?" 130 years and few have been my days and they've been evil. Jacob blesses Pharaoh again, then he's out. I wonder what, think about it from Pharaoh's perspective. It would probably be like, if some guy from over here, 3 properties over, came walking through the woods about my age, and I was like, "Man, where'd you come from?" "Oh, I came from Canaan." "Okay. How old are you?" "Oh, I'm 100. "You're 100. "Yep. And few have been my days, and they've been evil, and it's been a hard life. This is what I look like at 100. And few were my days, and it's been a hard life. You should have seen my daddy and my daddy's daddy." So there's some interesting back and forth there between the Egyptians and the Hebrews. So, but understand the blessing, okay? Understand the blessing. All right, 47:11. So Joseph settled his father and his brothers and gave them a possession in the land of Mitzrayim, in the best of the land, in the land of Ramses, as Pharaoh had commanded. And Joseph provided his father and his brothers and all his father's household with bread for the mouth of the little ones. Now, there was no bread in all the land because the scarcity of food was severe. So the general consensus here is now we're talking about year two of the famine. That what bread, what stores there were, it's all been used up. So now we're getting down into it. You know what? We're just gonna keep this live. We might have to go out of the wind. Come on, let's go to the barn. We'll take this from Bible study to walk and talk to barn time. How's that for an adventure? So they're getting into year two of the famine. They don't have much to eat, so all their stores, right, all the bread in the household, that's gone. So we've talked previously, guys, about can you withstand a 40 or a 7-year famine? I mean, that's a big deal. It's a really big deal. Yeah, we're in the barn. You know what? I am going to pause this and turn the lights on. Hold on. All right, so we're in the barn now. Sorry about that. The wind, though it's tremendous. All right, so where were we? Right. Year two of the famine. There was no bread in all the land, 47:13, because the scarcity of food was very severe in the land of Mitzrayim. And all the land of Canaan became exhausted from the scarcity of food. He said, standing next to his plate carrier in his bunker/barn, surrounded by preparedness stuff. Let that macerate on your heart for a little bit. Okay. And Joseph gathered up all the silver that was found in the land of Mitzrayim and in the land of Canaan for the grain which they bought. Meaning he had consolidated, there was no silver left in the land. He had gathered all of it up. All the silver in the land of Canaan and Egypt was gathered up to Joseph because it had all been spent on the grain that he had. And Joseph brought the silver into Pharaoh's house. And when the silver was all spent in the land of Mitzrayim and the land of Canaan, all the Mitzrites came to Joseph and said, "Give us bread, for why should we die in your presence? For the silver is gone." They said, "Not just give it to us. We don't have any money left. You know, you have all the money." Ears switched on. I mean, this is a biblical archetype for what is probably going to be coming down the pike in one shape or another. So it's something to think about, okay? Because we are in the fat times, the end of the fat times, right? So what is the lean time going to look like? All right, so there'll be money, right? There'll be silver. How many times have people talked about silver for bartering post-SHTF? Okay, cool. Well, it's all going to get gathered up, and then what? When the people have no more silver, and then what? Okay. And Joseph said, "Give your livestock, and I give you bread for your livestock, if silver is gone." Commodities trading. I just talked about this in a Patreon video. Commodities trading. So they brought their livestock to Joseph, and Joseph gave them bread in exchange for the horses, and for the flocks they owned, and for the herds they owned, and for the donkeys, and thus he fed them with bread in exchange for all their livestock that year. So year two, now all the livestock's gone. And when that year had ended, they came to him the next year and said to him, "We do not hide from my master that our silver is all spent. And my master also has the livestock we own." We're out of money, we're out of livestock, and we're not hiding it, right? "There has not been left any before my master, but our bodies in our hands." This is all I got left. Can I work for my money? Work for my bread? This is all I have left. I should probably get my product placement down, you know, since... There we go. All right. They're like, we got nothing left, bro. Now what? Now what do we do? It's much warmer in here out of the wind. So, why should we die before your eyes, both we and our land? Buy us and our land for bread, and let us and our land be servants of Pharaoh. And give us seed, and let us live and not die, and let the land not lie waste. And Joseph bought the entire land of Mitzrayim for Pharaoh, because every man of the Mitzrites sold his field, because the scarcity of food was severe upon them. And the land came to be Pharaoh's. He who controls the food controls the people. And remember, an army marches on its stomach. And as for the people, he moved them into the cities from one end of the borders of Mitzrayim to the other. Only the ground of the priests he did not buy, for the priests had from what Pharaoh gave them by law, and they ate that which Pharaoh gave them by law. Therefore they did not sell their ground. And Joseph said to the people, look, I have bought you and your land today for Pharaoh. Look, here is seed for you, and you shall sow the land. And so basically what we have here, we have this idea of slavery, right? I think these guys were more like bond servants. They worked the land. They kept 4/5, as we'll see. They gave 1/5 to Pharaoh, and they made this arrangement so that they would remain fed during the famine, the scarcity of food. Again, this is the archetype. We need to be aware of this now, because I believe this is coming again. So we don't want to get caught in this position where we're literally giving away everything we have. The only thing we have left is our bodies and our hands. And we're going to trade that for a loaf of bread. Now, if my options were my family starves to death and I'm a free man, or my family lives and I'm a slave, begrudgingly, I'm going with option 2. But I would much rather not be in that position in the first place. So we have the instruction manual for life right here, and we would be well, it would go well for us to heed this instruction. This is what happens when I hang out in the barn. Look what I found. Cool. So, and it shall be that in your harvest you shall give 1/5 to Pharaoh, and 4/5 is your own, as seed for the field and for your food, for those of your households, and as food for your little ones. And they said, you have saved our lives. Let us find favor in the eyes of my master, and we shall become Pharaoh's servants. And Joseph made it a law over the land of Mitzrayim to this day, that Pharaoh should have 1/5, except for the ground of the priests only, which did not become Pharaoh's. And Israel dwelt in the land of Mitzrayim, in the land of Goshen, and had the possessions, and they had possessions there, and were fruitful and increased exceedingly. And Jacob lived in the land of Mitzrayim 17 years. So the length of Jacob's life was 147 years. And the time for Israel to die drew near. And he called his son Joseph and said to him, now, if I have found favor in your eyes, please put your hand under my thigh and show loving commitment and truth to me. Please do not bury me in Mitzrayim. But I shall go lie with my fathers, and you shall take me up out of Mitzrayim and bury me in their burial place. And he said, I do as you have said. And he said, swear to me. And he swore to him, and Israel bowed himself on the head of his bed. And there's a question mark on that translation there. It should be more along the lines of Israel leaned on his staff and bowed down. Does it matter? Only because there's a Hebrews, I think, 11:11 translation that says that he leaned on his staff, and then that creates some incongruency there. But there you go. Whatevs, bro. 48, new chapter. Drink coffee. Yes, sir. Completely unrelated, but it's here, right here next to me. These little 40 millimeter HE pouches, these are for holding grenades. And I got them for like $1 a piece at the military surplus store. They're brand new. And I've been hanging them on all my gear for when I'm rucking. They're the perfect size to stick an iPhone 7 in. So if you ever wondered, hey, what should I do with my iPhone 7? This A 40 millimeter grenade pouch is the perfect size for one. So when you're rucking, you can listen to your podcasts or your whatever and stay motivated. Stay on the path. Okay. I don't know if we should do Bible study in the barn anymore. I'm kind of distracted right now. But it is really windy out there, so 'tis what it is. Ooh, 62 grain soft points. Those are good. It's an excellent round. Anyway, 48. And after these events, it came to be that it was said to Joseph, "See, your father is sick." And he took with him his 2 sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. And Jacob said, "See, your son Joseph is coming to you." And Israel strengthened himself and sat up in bed. And Jacob said to Joseph, "El Shaddai appeared to me at Luz in the land of Canaan and blessed me. And he said to me, See, I am making you fruitful and shall increase you and make of you an assembly of peoples, and give this land to your seed after you an everlasting possession. And now your 2 sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, who were born to you in the land of Mitzrayim before I came to you in Mitzrayim, are mine. As Reuben and Simeon, they are mine." We're going someplace with this. Excuse me. We're going someplace with this. There's an adoption that's taking place here. Remember that Joseph was the favorite son. Jacob loved Joseph. He was the son of his old age, right? And he doted on him. He loved him. Jacob's not a huge fan of Reuben because, Reuben went up to his bed and laid with, was it his wife or his maidservant? Reuben was messing around. So, now Reuben was his firstborn, right? And firstborn is due a double portion. So, what Jacob is saying here is, give me Ephraim and Manasseh. They are mine now, so that I may bless them as my sons. Okay. Your offspring whom you shall bring forth after them are yours, and let them be called by the name of their brothers in their inheritance. And I, when I came from Padan, that's Padan Aram, Rachel died beside me in the land of Canaan on the way, where there was but a little distance to go to Ephrath, and I buried her there on the way to Ephrath, that is, Bethlehem. And Israel saw Joseph's sons and said, Who are these? And Joseph said to his father, They are my sons, whom Elohim, has given me in this place. And he said, Please bring them to me, and let me bless them. And the eyes of Israel were dim with age, and he was unable to see. Again, the rabbinical thought there is that not that he was blind, like he could see outlines of things, but clarity was gone. So he was unable to see, and he drew them near, and he kissed them and embraced them. And Israel said to Joseph, I had not thought to see your face, but see, Elohim has also shown me your seed. Basically, he's saying, I didn't think I'd ever see you again, but now I've been so blessed by the Father that now not only do I see you, I see your children. That's cool. So Joseph brought them from between his knees, and he bowed down with his face to the earth. And Joseph took them both, Ephraim with his right hand toward Israel's left hand, and Manasseh with his left hand towards Israel's right hand, and brought them near him. And Israel stretched out his right hand and laid it on Ephraim's head, who was the younger, and his left hand on Manasseh's head, consciously directing his hands, for Manasseh was the firstborn. Remember, Jacob's got kind of this thing going on of the whole firstborn blessing thing. He's kind of flipped the script repeatedly here. Okay, so these are intentional things that's going on here. And he, Jacob, blessed Joseph and said, The Elohim before whom my fathers Abraham and Isaac walked, the Elohim who has fed me all my life long to this day, the messenger who has redeemed me, the angel who has redeemed me from all evil, bless the youths. and let my name be called upon them, and the name of my fathers Abraham and Isaac, and let them increase to a multitude in the midst of the earth. And when Joseph saw that his father laid his right hand on the head of Ephraim, it was evil in his eyes. Remember, Ephraim's the younger one. So the right hand, right, that's your dominant hand, that should be blessing the oldest son, who's Manasseh. And Joseph saw that his father laid his right hand on the head of Ephraim. It was evil in his eyes, and he took a hold of his father's hand to remove it from the head of Ephraim to the head of Manasseh. You picked the wrong kid, Dad. Again? Really? And Joseph said to his father, Not so, my father, for this one is the firstborn. Put your right hand on his head. But his father refused and said, I know, my son, I know. He also becomes a people, and he also is great, and yet his younger brother is greater than he. And his seed is to become the completeness of the nations. And he blessed them on that day, saying, In you Israel shall bless, saying, Elohim make you as Ephraim and Manasseh. Thus he put Ephraim before Manasseh. And Israel said to Joseph, See, I am dying, but Elohim shall be with you and bring you back to the land of your fathers. And I have given to you one portion above your brothers, which I took from the hand of the Amorite with my sword and my bow. Joseph's getting a double portion. His sons are getting hooked up by Jacob. There's a hierarchy that existed in that day of how things should be handed down, how things are to be done. And Jacob is yet again playing with the hierarchy, which, I mean, think about it. Laban jammed him up with the same thing. Oh, in our country, it's customary that you marry the firstborn daughter first. So he ended up with Leah, the chick with the cinnamon buns on the side of her head. So, in a galaxy far, far away, it's hard to herd sheep out there in space. The little helmets don't fit, and it's tough. So, but Laban jammed him up with that. And now here he is. He's like, no, we're not doing it this way. We're doing it my way. Which we have to say is the urging of the Spirit, right? Which at that time, these people literally walked with who? With Yeshua. Literally walked with him. So we have to assume that they were being led appropriately. So, 49 is where I was hoping to get to, and here we are, 50 minutes later. We are, and I don't normally do this, but I've been consulting all the Bibles this morning and last night, Erev Shabbat, which is Friday evening, and trying to make sense of all of these blessings that Jacob is about to give to the 12 tribes of Israel. I am a Hebrew, voluntarily. I don't speak Hebrew. And I don't quite understand all of this. So I've done a bunch of research, and I did print this out from BibleStudyTools.com. This is their Genesis 49 commentary. And so we're into the patriarchal blessings, which is what we're getting into, right? See, look, I printed, I did it. Look, Dad, look what I did. So we're going to read through this, and then we're going to come back. You know what we're going to do? I'm going to pause right here, and then I'm going to do a standout for the patriarchal blessings as well. So hold on. All right, so as we were saying, Genesis 49, patriarchal blessings. Let's go ahead and get into the book. And Jacob called his sons and said, Gather together. Remember, he's dying, right? Gather together so that I declare to you what is to befall you in the last days. Gather together and hear your sons, you sons of Jacob, and listen to Israel, your father. Reuben, you were my firstborn, and I kind of want to throat punch you. My power and the beginning of my strength, the excellency of exaltation and the excellency of power. Boiling like water, you do not excel, because you went up to your father's bed, then you defiled it. He went up to my couch. Water, boiling like water, there's again like all the rabbinical teachings and agreement and disagreement and the whole nine. But basically, restless has been attributed to Reuben, and also not very dependable. And I think it was, is it in here? Is it in this thing? Reuben, again, from BibleStudyTools.com. Yeah, their words, not mine, but I needed some clarity on this, and now I'm bringing it to you. Reuben forfeited by his crime the rights and honors of primogeniture, the firstborn. His posterity never made any figure. No judge, prophet, nor ruler sprang from his tribe. Cool. Okay. Simeon and Levi are brothers. This is 49:5. Their weapons are implements of violence. Let my being not enter their council. Let my esteem not be united to their assembly, because they killed a man in their displeasure, and they lamed an ox in pleasure. Cursed be their displeasure, for it is fierce, and their wrath, for it is cruel. I divide them in Jacob, and scatter them in Israel. Simeon and Levi were associated in wickedness, and in the same prediction would be equally applicable. Simeon and Levi were associated with wickedness, and the same prediction would be equally applicable to both their tribes. Levi had cities allotted to them in every tribe. On account of their zeal against idolatry, they were honorably divided in Jacob, whereas the tribe of Simeon, which was guilty of the grossest idolatry and the vices inseparable from it, were ignominiously scattered. Okay. I divide them in Jacob and scatter them in Israel. Cool. So this is like a patriarchal blessing, but it's also prophecy of what's to come. So here we go. 49:8. Judah, Yehuda. You, Yehuda, your brothers praise you, and your hand is on the neck of your enemies. Your father's children bow down before you. Judah is a lion's cub. From the prey you have gone up, my son. He bowed down, he crouched like a lion, and like a lion who does rouse him. The scepter shall not turn aside from Jehudah, nor an inscriber from between his feet, until Shiloh comes, and to him is the obedience of peoples. Genesis 49:8-12. Judah, a high preeminence is destined to this tribe, as seen in Numbers 10:14 and Judges 1:2. That's the wind blowing the barn door, because it's really windy outside. Besides the honor of giving them the name of the promised land, David, and a greater than David, the Messiah, sprang from it. Chief among the tribes, it grew up from a lion's whelp, that is, a little power, till it became an old lion, that is, calm and quiet, yet still formidable. 49:10, until Shiloh comes. Shiloh, this obscure word, is variously interpreted to mean the sent, John 17:3, the seed, Isaiah 11:1, the peaceable or prosperous one, Ephesians 2:14, that is the Messiah, Isaiah 11:10 and Romans 15:12. And when he should come, the tribe of Judah should no longer boast either an independent king or a judge of their own. That's from Calvin. The Jews have been for 18 centuries without a ruler and without a judge since Shiloh came, and to him the gathering of the people has been. So there you go, prophecy. So from the tribe of Judah, we get the promised land, David, and the Messiah. Okay, and so that's kind of a big deal, right there. I mean, teensy weensy little tiny bits. All right, let's go. Genesis 49:13. Or we'll start at 11. Binding his donkey to the vine, and his donkey's colt to the choice vine, he washed his garments in wine, and his robes in the blood of grapes. His eyes are darker than wine, and his teeth whiter than milk. Zebulon was to have its lot on the sea coast, close to Zion, or Zidon, and to engage like that state in the maritime pursuits of commerce. Somebody's burning trash too. It's a terrible day for it. Why would you do that? Zebulun dwells at the seashore, for he is a haven for ships, and his border is unto Sidon. Issachar is a strong donkey lying down between two burdens, and he saw that a resting place was good, and that the land was pleasant, and he inclined his shoulder to bear a burden, and became a subject to slave labor. Again, I'm reading out of the scriptures, so Hebrew literacy ? Issachar, a strong ass couching down between two burdens. That is, it was to be active, patient, given to agricultural labors. It was established in Lower Galilee, a good land, settling down in the midst of Canaanites, where for the sake of quiet they bowed their shoulder to bear and became a servant unto tribute. Dan rightly rules his people as one of the tribes of Israel. Dan is a serpent by the way, an adder by the path that bites the horse's heel so that its rider falls backwards. I have waited for your deliverance, O Yahweh. Dan, though the son of a secondary wife, was to be as one of the tribes of Israel, a judge. A serpent or an adder implies subtlety and stratagem. Such was preeminently the character of Samson, the most illustrious of its judges. Gad, a raiding band, raids him, but he raids its heel. This tribe should often be attacked and wasted by hostile powers on their borders. Judges 10:8, Jeremiah 49:1. But they were generally victorious in the close of their wars. Bread from Asher is rich, and he gives delicacies of a sovereign. Asher, blessed. Its allotment was the seacoast between Tyre and Carmel, a district fertile in the production of the finest corn and oil in all of Palestine. Cool. Naphtali is a deer let loose. He gives words of elegance. Naphtali, the best rendering we know is this. Naphtali is a deer roaming at liberty. He shooteth forth goodly branches, or majestic antlers. And the meaning of the prophecy seems to be that the tribe of Naphtali would be located in a territory so fertile and peaceable that feeding on the richest pasture, he would spread out like a deer branching antlers. Cool. This is why I wanted to print this out, because what are my thoughts on this? My thoughts are what the book says. I just don't know if I have quite the insider context to put it all together. So, backup. We brought in some backup. All right. Joseph. Joseph is an offshoot of a fruit-bearing tree, an offshoot of a fruit-bearing tree by a fountain. His branches run over a wall. And the archers have bitterly grieved him, shot at him, and hated him. But his bow remained in strength, and by the arms of his hands were made strong, by the hands of the mighty one of Jacob. From there is the shepherd, the stone of Israel. From the El of your father, who helps you, and by the Almighty, who blesses you with blessings of the heavens from above, blessings of the deep that lies beneath, blessings of the breasts and of the womb. The blessings of your father have excelled the blessings of my ancestors, up to the limit of the everlasting hills. They are on the head of Joseph, and on the crown of the head of him who was separated from his brothers. So, yeah. Like, Gad gets one line and Joseph gets 3 paragraphs. Favoritism much? But again, we knew Joseph was Jacob's favorite. Okay. 49:22, a fruitful bow denotes the extraordinary increase of that tribe. Compare Numbers 133 through 35, Joshua 17:17, and Deuteronomy 33:17. The patriarch describes him as attacked by envy, revenge, temptation, ingratitude, yet still by the grace of God he triumphed over all opposition, so that he became the sustainer of Israel. And then he proceeds to shower blessings of every kind upon the head of this favorite son. The history of the tribes of Ephraim and Manasseh shows how fully these blessings were realized. So yeah, there's that for you. And I know this is running long, guys, so feel free to pause, take a bio break, come back, whatever. Doing our best. But I wanted to get through 49, but I wasn't going to bounce through 47 and 48 without giving them their due diligence, just so we could get to 49. Because, as we've said before repeatedly over and over and over again, see, unless you're watching the standalone portion, go watch the whole thing. But I wanted to not plow 46 and 47, 48, because we're just going to read the Bible together. That's what we've been doing, is reading the Bible together. And if we didn't read that, then we wouldn't be reading the Bible together, would we? We would start to creep into the realm of cherry picking, and that's not what we're going to do here. All right. Benjamin, is a wolf that tears in the morning. He eats prey, and at night he divides the spoil. Benjamin. This tribe, in its early history, spent its energies in petty and inglorious warfare, and especially in the violent and unjust contest, Judges 19:1 through 20:48, in which it engaged with the other tribes when, notwithstanding 2 victories, it was almost exterminated. All these are the 12 tribes of Israel, and this is what their father spoke to them. And he blessed them, and he blessed each one according to his own blessing. And he commanded them and said to them, I am to be gathered to my people. Bury me with my fathers in the cave that is in the field of Ephron the Hittite, that Abraham bought for 400 pieces of silver. Remember that? In the cave that is in the field of Machpelah, which is before Mamre in the land of Canaan, which Abraham bought in the field of Ephron the Hittite as a possession for a burial site. There they buried Abraham and Sarai, his wife. There they buried Isaac and Rebekah, his wife, and there I buried Leah. The field purchased, and the cave which is in it, from the sons of Heth. And when Jacob ended commanding his sons, he drew his feet up into the bed and breathed his last and was gathered to his people. The end of 49. What does this thing say about that? All these are the 12 tribes of Israel, or ancestors. Jacob's prophetic words obviously refer not so much to the sons as to the tribes of Israel. The charge had already been given and solemnly undertaken in Genesis 47:31, but in mentioning his wishes now and rehearsing all the circumstances connected with the purchase of Machpelah, he wished to declare with his last breath before all his family that he died in the same faith as Abraham. And when Jacob made an end of commanding his sons, it is probable that he was supernaturally strengthened for this last momentous office of the patriarch, and that when the divine afflatus ceased, his exhausted powers giving way, he yielded up the ghost and was gathered unto his people. Again, guys, this is from BibleStudyTools.com. This is their Genesis 49 commentary, so you can Google that if you want this, or find one of your own. And I'll be the first to admit it's not the greatest, but I'll also say it's probably better than I could have done on my own. So, the blessings of the 12 tribes of Israel and the curses of certain portions of those 12 tribes of Israel are pretty well seen here. So there we go. That's what we've been doing today. I'll tell you truthfully, I'm going to wrap this up. I don't particularly enjoy being in the barn reading the scriptures. Let's get out of the barn. Let's come out of here. Come out of her, my people, lest you partake of her barnwood. That's how it goes, right? There we go. I feel better now. I like reading the word outside. So there's my beautiful wife. I had to go in the barn because there was so much wind. Like it was trying to blow the stick off of the thing. So I'm just wrapping up my Vajeo. You want to say hi to peeps? Our Shalomi homies, our Hebrews.
Shalomi homies.
So that's our story. You have no idea what I was just reading. I was reading Abraham. I'm not Abraham. That guy, Israel, Jacob, blessing the 12 tribes, his sons. Yep. Reuben didn't get a blessing because he shacked up with his daddy's wife. Yeah. Jerry.
Shacking with your daddy's
Jerry. You survived the tornado?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It was crazy.
Worcester had 85-mile-an-hour winds.
85-mile-an-hour winds. There you go. That's why I was in the barn shooting this video.
Yeah.
So, all right. Shalom, y'all.
Shalom.
We love you guys. Happy Shabbat. Keep it between the lines, and we're fine. We didn't get tornadoed, so we'll see you soon.